Well, it's night 12. We're not even close to Easter yet. That's when Donald said he would like us to be open, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Let's get back to the liquor. This is cool. This is a product of Kansas City, Missouri. A little shout out to my home state. And it's an Irish and American blended whiskey called Stonebreaker, IRL. That means Ireland. Also on the cross, my dad used to say that meant I never reached Ireland, where it says INRI. Little joke there that he never tired of. And it's a mix of Irish and American whiskey. So it wasn't that expensive. A little something. Oh, look, and there's a little, I didn't even notice, there's a little man in the back with a little whiskey barrel on a stick. Okay, so that's what we'll be drinking. I like the bottle a lot because it's got a little Irish flag here. That's an immigration card about an Irish immigrant. Very thoughtful. And it says Irish on the lid, like that too. So if you're in North Kansas City, you can get this. Let's go back to Tanya, see what's going on here. Where we left off, she had gotten ponies and, you know. If I were playing a word association game, I'd probably associate Daddy with strength and hard work. I don't know. He seemed to quit a lot of jobs, just saying. Maybe they just weren't good enough. Maybe he had to move on. Maybe he upgraded himself. Maybe he just said, you know what, I need a promotion, damn it. Even now, when I picture my dad, I think of a man dressed in green workman's clothes. I thought they were the finest looking uniforms in the world. I still have a tendency to admire men who do physical work for a living, and I mean hard work, the kind that breaks your back. That's what I always think of road crews in the summertime with pavement. Ugh. Mother, I'd associate with good or spiritual. She had a level of perfection I knew even as a child I'd never be able to attain myself. Another word that comes to mind when I think of mother is respect, because that's one of the first things my dad taught me about dealing with her. You call her mother, not ma or mama, he'd say. That's the respectful way to speak about her, which I think is a little bit of a Southern thing. Ron White still calls his mom mother. So does Vic Henley. They're all Southern people. I would never think to call my mom mother unless something was really out of whack, where I'd be like, mother! I'd be yelling at her, but it still wouldn't come out like that. Maybe it's because she's part Indian, but my mother's spiritual nature has made her something of a healer. If you tell her you have a health problem, I guarantee she'll have some home remedy or some herb tea she thinks will fix you up. Truth is, I always preferred Daddy's home remedies. He was sure that the Snickers bar cure, and to this day, I feel scared like a little kid or feel down about something. A Snickers bar will go a long way towards snapping me back. Well, that's an easy fix. Quite a cheap one, too. That's all it takes. Good for you. He was a psychic, too. He tells people he can sense when I'm screwing up. And I'm thinking his senses must have nearly worn out several times over the years. Ha ha! Maybe we know each other so well because we spent a lot of time together as a family. We never went out or entertained much. We didn't have money for either activity. We're kind of like a quarantine. It's what we're all doing now, either. When we did go somewhere, it was usually to try to get Lacoste or me on some stage. I look back at all the moves we made and all the different jobs Daddy held, and it just seemed like we spent all those years trying to get somewhere else, and we finally did. Lacoste had been singing around the house for as long as I can remember. She always had a beautiful voice. The first time she sang for the public was on a radio show in Snyder, Texas, when she was 4 years old. A movie theater co-sponsored a talent contest with the local radio station, and Costa practiced for days singing some little children's song. The only trouble was she forgot the last line of the song, so she just stopped. The judge said, "Miss Tucker, is that it?" Costa shrugged and said, "That's it." She didn't win, but she was in show business, which in our household meant the whole family was in it too. Because remember, they all know what everybody had for breakfast, which I think wouldn't be that weird if you're all in the same house. She greatly expanded her record collection in San Simon, Arizona, where we lived briefly in 1959. It was a very tiny town and had one cafe, and that cafe had a jukebox. Every time the jukebox man changed the records, Costa would go down and buy up the old ones. Her favorites were Ricky Nelson and Dean Martin. Years later, she would sing one of those Dean Martin songs, I Will, for auditions. It got her a recording contract, so I guess you never know which childhood pursuit might actually come to something. It was only natural that I'd be singing along with my big sister from the time I could talk. Unlike guitar and piano, singing came naturally, and I could have spent every minute of my time doing it. The whole family listened to music on the radio. We loved Ernest Tubb, Loretta Lynn, Wanda Jackson, Jim Reeves, Marty Robbins, Hank Williams, and Frank Sinatra. I always loved him. My daddy especially loved the old Jimmy Rogers records. He said he felt sorry for the kids who never heard country music pure and simple the way Jimmy played it. LaCosta and I also listened to her records and watched the Lawrence Welk Show on television religiously and sang along with the Lennon sisters. Okay. I think that's enough for tonight. I hope you guys are doing good. I made a little video. There's a new channel on Sirius. It's all female comedy channel, 105. I'm pretty excited about that. It may not look like I'm excited, but that's because it's daytime and I'm reading a sad story, kind of, and drinking Irish whiskey, but why not, right? I have nothing to contribute except these little tiny stories. So, I hope you guys are doing good, and we'll pick up tomorrow, night 13.